Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released watchOS 10.3 to the public. watchOS 10.3 is out around the world for everyone at the same time and comes in at a fairly small 245 megabytes. That's on my Apple Watch Ultra 2. Apple also released a bunch of other updates which you'll need for this update, such as iOS 17.3, iPadOS 17.3, and updates for Mac, Apple TV, and HomePod, as well as older devices as well. Now, I wanted to go over something before we talk about what's new, and that has to do with the Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2. There's some concern that this will actually disable the O2 sensor since Apple can no longer sell that in the United States, but that only applies to new devices. It does not apply to devices we've already had. So if you've had a device since last week, it's probably disabled already. You will have the app, but it currently works fine on watchOS 10.3 on current devices. They will not disable it on older devices. So if we go into our option here for the O2 sensor, we can tap start and you'll see it's working just fine. I'll just hold still here for a second and we'll see what it actually shows. So it's reading my O2 or pulse oximetry. Give it just a moment here. It's counting down and we're almost done. And there we go. It actually read it. It's at 98%. So it's working just fine in devices that already have it. Again, around the world, it won't make a difference. It's just in the United States with Series 9 and Watch Ultra 2. Other than that, you'll have it on all your devices if you've had them for a while. If not, you'll know that once you pick it up and buy it. Now, as far as the build number, let's go ahead and take a look at that. We'll go into our settings, general, and then about, and you can see the build number here, which is 21S644. Now, as far as new features, well, there's a few new features in this update, and the first one has to do with watch faces. So if we swipe over here, just a couple, you'll see that we have a new watch face, and this is called Unity Bloom. It's got a couple different variants where you can add complications, or you can just leave it as is. And you'll see it's animated, and if we scroll back here, press and hold, and go to edit, we have a few different color options. So we'll swipe back over, and you can see the different options here, such as Unity, we have multicolor, we also have red, as well as green, and just sort of the black and white version as well. So if you want to use this, it's now available. And as I mentioned, you have a couple different versions. So if you want to actually use this, you can use full bloom or one that's called single bloom. And then again, you have the similar color options as well as complications that can fit around the outside edge. So whatever you'd like, it's now available. That was kind of an odd bug when I pressed the button, but this is now available to go along with a new Apple Watch band, and you'll see it here, the black Unity band. So if you want to pick that up, it matches nicely, and they launch this typically every end of January, early February. Now, as far as other new things, well, if we swipe over, you may have noticed that I've just been swiping between watch faces. Now, they did add that update in watchOS 10.2. However, it's now turned on by default. So if we go back and we go to our settings and scroll down to clock, under clock, there it is, you'll see that we have swipe to switch watch face. They brought this back with watchOS 10.2, and now it's enabled by default if you don't have it enabled. However, if you did disable it, it won't automatically enable it once you install it. So you'll be able to quickly swipe between different watch faces. Also, something else it looks like they've updated is even more Snoopy watch faces. Now, these seem to be time sensitive throughout the year. So around Christmas time, we actually had Christmas watch faces. Once we got to New Year's, we also had New Year's watch faces. And again, let's turn it back on. There's quite a few that I still haven't seen. There's supposedly about 150 of them, but so far I haven't gotten through all of them. Every time I'm sort of delighted and see new ones. I've seen this one before. We'll take a look at one more here and just wake it back up. And you'll see there's a few different ones. So every time I wake it up, I almost see a new one just about every time. Something else that seems to be updated in watchOS 10.3 that Apple didn't mention has to do with Siri. Now, if you're using your watch to work out, so not an open workout, but rather maybe a fitness workout with Fitness Plus, so you're using that in activity and maybe working out either by yourself or with someone else, there's now an announcement if you have your Siri announce notification option turned on. If you're using this and you're using AirPods, when you get close to finishing a workout, it will actually ask you, would you like to end the workout? Once you say yes, it will stop the workout and then you can continue doing whatever you want to do, or you could just continue the workout altogether. So that's something that my friend Bram noticed while he was using this with workouts, and it seems to be an addition. They could have added it before, but it seems like it's new with watchOS 10.3. Now there's additional features that were added with iOS 17.3 that carry over to watchOS as well. If we go down to the music app, We'll go back here, and if we go into our playlists, so we'll go into playlists here in our library. Under our playlists, we have new collaborative playlists. These are including songs that we can collaborate with others on, and we can add additional songs here. So we can see them, but we can also add additional songs if we want to. Just add a song, delete from library, add to playlist, and add your favorite songs here, and then they'll carry over and they're shared between different users. So if we go to our playlists on our iPhone, you'll see it here, and then we can react with emoji reactions on the different songs. So that's something that's been updated with iOS 17.3, and you can access that playlist on watchOS 10.3 as well. Now, as far as bug fixes, Apple hasn't said a whole lot about this. You'll see they, in fact, don't even mention a specific bug fix. And if we take a look at the actual release notes from the Feedback app, if you have that as a beta tester, go into your inbox, you'll see watchOS 10.3, they resolved a couple issues. One of them has to do with device support, where it says copying debug symbols from an Apple Watch running watchOS 10.3 Beta 2 may take longer than expected, approximately 10 to 20 minutes, and then there's a store kit fix as well. However, these have not been updated since a couple betas ago, and Apple really needs to update their documentation to make it a little bit more clear. But either way, they've fixed some bugs. We don't really know what they are, but they actually have fixed a few things. Now, we do have some security updates as well, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. On Apple's security update website, if we scroll down, you can see they've updated it with today's releases with iOS 17.3, and if we scroll down, you'll see watchOS 10.3. If we go into this, we can see all of the different updates, and you'll see things such as Apple Neural Engine, Core Crypto, Kernel, as well as Safari, shortcuts, and more. So these updates fix different issues with vulnerabilities, and you'll see the impact is what the problem was. A user's private browsing activity may be visible in settings, and the description is a privacy issue was addressed with improved handling of user preferences. And you'll see who actually submitted the issue along with the CVE number. So I'll link this in the description if you want to take a look at this along with all the other updates today, as this is available now. Now, if you're wondering if you should install watchOS 10.3, I definitely would for those security vulnerabilities, and it definitely seems to be improved, even though it's a fairly minor update. So at this point, I would definitely install it, and you can also turn off the betas if you no longer want to receive those. If you do want to continue receiving those, maybe with watchOS 10.4, well, then you can leave that on as well. Now, as far as watchOS goes, we should have future updates here in just a day or so with watchOS 10.4. Now, we do think we'll see some things such as side loading on iOS with iOS 17.4, but we're not sure what we'll see with watchOS 10.4. As we get closer to maybe the release of watchOS 11, Apple is expected to add some features there, but typically I don't expect to see many more updates here. Maybe some improvements throughout, but in general I do like how they've changed a few of the interface elements, made them a little bit easier, such as the swipe between watch faces. Maybe we'll see more of that brought with watchOS 10.4, but we'll have to wait a day or so, as typically Apple releases them after the public release of watchOS 10.4, usually within a day or two. So I would expect that as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday this week, possibly next week, but usually it's within a day or so. Now, as far as the overall performance, it's been nice and fast. You've seen it throughout this video. If I go into weather here, it loads almost instantly. If I go into, let's just go into an app I don't open all the time. Let's go into the loudness app. You'll see here, it's almost instant as far as the way it responds. It's pretty quick to go into just about anything, and I really haven't had any issues whatsoever using it. Now, there have been complaints as far as overall battery. You'll see the App Store is taking a little while here. I haven't opened it in quite some time, and there we go. You'll see, in fact, I haven't opened it in a long time, so I had to start from the beginning. But either way, the other thing, too, I wanted to mention is battery life, as some people have been complaining about it. Now, I'm only down 4% since I took this off the charger a few hours ago, and if we go into battery health, so we'll go into our settings, we'll go back, scroll down to battery here, or back up to battery rather, under battery, then we'll go down to battery health, and you'll see I'm currently at 100%. In fact, my Apple Watch Ultra 1 is still at 100%. I've had no issues with battery on watchOS 10.3. It's easily getting me through a couple days on the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and if I'm using it to work out or just maybe go for a walk, it actually still seems to last a couple days. It's doing quite well, although I'm not streaming music off it. But some people complained of battery issues with watchOS 10.2. I'm not really seeing any with watchOS 10.3, although I didn't see much of a difference with watchOS 10.2. Now, I'm asked all the time, what watch face am I using? And if we press and hold, you'll see that it's called modular. If I tap edit, and you'll see this complication here. This is actually an app called Lumi. I paid for it, and you can actually see golden hour, which is one of the best times to take photos. So you can change this to different things such as sunrise and other complications as well with moon rises. But I like this one here where it shows countdown to golden hour. So if you want to use that, it's available. All the other complications are pretty typical with music, compass, weather, the date, and then also messages. So it's just the regular modular watch face that I've customized. So that's everything in watchOS 10.3. There's not really a huge update here, but a few new changes and updates with that collaborative playlist and new watch faces. Let me know if you found anything else I haven't mentioned in the comments below. And of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.